We're living our truth now. Krista, what?
Krista who?
Christadelphian?
Did you say Christian Dolphin? So are you from Philadelphia?
Welcome to the Life After Leaving podcast, an ex-Christadelphian podcast. Hello, heathens, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Zinnia. Today's guest is Vanessa. And yes, to clarify, this is our second Vanessa to come on the podcast. So thank you for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story.
Thanks for having me.
So today we're going to go through your story of becoming an ex-Christadelphian. So I'd like to go through what the experience was like as a Christadelphian, what the process of leaving looked like for you, and where you're at now, and anything you'd like to share with people who may be going through a similar journey. I'm also looking forward to chatting about a creative project you took on after you left the Christadelphians. So we're going to chat about that as well. So before we get started, could you first share what region of the world you're in?
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
And how long has it been since you left the Christadelphians?
I was just trying to work it out, but I'm 51 now, and I left when I was 26. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it's been, I think, more than sort of half my life now being an ex-Christadelphian. So
yeah, decades now. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to dive back in and chat about your experience as a Christadelphian?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up as a Christadelphian, so I was born into it, as most people are. On my dad came in like from the outside. It's so weird. Like, yeah, it's weird listening to a podcast because like all these terms I've kind of half forgotten about. They're coming back to me, so it's like coming from the outside.
Yep, outsider.
Yeah. So he got converted when he met my mum.
Flirt to convert.
Yeah, got one in, he stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on my mum's side, I think we worked it out. I was fifth generation on my grandma's side and fourth generation on my granddad's side. So, yeah, long line of Christadelphians, and grew up with that whole extended family. So I actually had my great-grandma, I knew her, she was in the Christadelphians, and just a whole lot of like great uncles and aunties and cousins and like that massive family. So yeah, the ecclesia I grew up in had about 100, and I think I was related to about 80 of them. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, I was gonna guess 50, but
no.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a lot. So
did you feel like it was a positive to see family so often and be around them growing up?
Yeah, I loved it. Like I absolutely loved it, and my family was, I'm not sure now, but quite kind of jovial and jokey and friendly, and yeah, it was lovely. Nice. Like I felt like I knew who I was. Like you go, oh, okay, I know who I am because that's who my great uncle is and my cousins, and yeah, it was nice.
They just gave you that identity and you were able to just belong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I just think like we kept busy, of course, like most people, the meeting on Sundays and then youth group every second Saturday and then outings, and as I grew older as well as like Bible class on Wednesdays, and oh my goodness, it was everything. It was almost every day of the week, wasn't it?
It depends on where you were, but it sounds like with Australia, if you were in a larger meeting and having committees and having more obligations, that became a big part, I guess, once you hit adolescence, teenager years.
Yeah. So I grew up, I think, quite happy having that community around me, but then also very, very unhappy with all the rules and the control. Like I always felt that I couldn't really be myself, and like someone was always watching. Like I know, like
God or like your aunties and uncles, because both.
It was like even I went to counselling maybe 15 years ago, and the counsellor was like, I just got this feeling that someone is always watching, like God is always watching. And he went, okay, I've got an exercise for you to do. He goes, get a piece of paper, draw an eye on it. Okay. and then, and he goes, and put it in your toilet. And I went, oh my goodness.
Wow.
And I went, okay, I'm cured. Okay, I don't do that anymore.
Interesting. I'll have to tell Brian about that method. See, like, here you go for your religious trauma clients.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, do you still get that? Like, I still get that feeling that someone's watching.
I haven't felt that, but I know it comes up in the group cyclically. Like, I feel like every year or so someone brings that up, so I feel like it's pretty common. But I think I deconstructed so hard with the God stuff, and then I think I got used to like living with ghosts and spirits. So I'm like, yeah, they're watching, but I can just live with it because they're on my side. As opposed to like, if it's a judgment watching, then I'm like, don't look at me. You know, it's different. It's very different depending on the perception and like the attitude, I guess, of who's watching.
And why are they watching? What are they looking for? If they're looking for good things, or if they're looking for you that you're stepping out of line.
Exactly. Is it just enforcing control by feeling watched? And I think, like you said, feeling that is pretty icky.
Yeah, because the group I grew up in, they were a breakaway of a breakaway of a breakaway, I think. Hang on, there's the main group, and then they broke away, and then they broke away.
Group. Yeah. You would think it would get pretty small.
They do. That's why there was 100, because there was like the main group that had not even that many, I don't think. They might have had 200 or 300.
Do you remember what group they like named themselves or were generally associated with?
Yeah, they were called Old Paths, so I don't think they existed.
Oh, you're the first person to talk about Old Paths.
Oh, really?
We have to talk about that. Yeah, can you tell me anything you know about it, with what that identity meant to them, or how it might be different than other stories on the podcast?
Yeah, from what I remember, like, we were sort of proud of being like, we're the ones that have held the line and we've kept faithful to the original principles, and everyone else has gone off a bit. And it was like they're obsessed with marriage and divorce, which I guess is always about sex, right? So they're obsessed with going, no, if you get married and then you get divorced, then you have to stay alone for the rest of your life.
Yep, because that's like cheating almost if you get remarried.
Exactly, yeah.
You can only have one partner for life.
Yeah, yeah. And it's all coming back to me. It's like the acceptive clause. Do you know that?
I don't remember. What was that?
Yeah, there's a verse in Matthew, I think. And it was like, if you get married, except if the other person commits adultery, then you have got a reason to get remarried. But if that other person hasn't cheated, then you can never get married again. Yeah.
That's a weird little clause.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Like, you should both be good Christadelphians, but maybe one of you should commit adultery already.
Yeah,
so we can get remarried.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very victim blamey, or just going, okay, can you go and cheat, so therefore I'm free. Yeah.
It sounds very Victorian, because you needed a reason. Everything was about that, like, legally binding contract of marriage.
Yeah, unfortunately, if your husband did beat you, then you still had to stay with them, which is one of the problems. So,
not a good enough reason for divorce in a church.
Yeah, that's right. Like, the only reason was if they committed adultery. That's the only reason that you could, or they died. That was the only reason.
Okay, well, the other great option for getting out of your marriage is
death.
I'll be curious if we get any murder stories out of the Old Paths Christadelphians. Like, well, divorce wasn't on the table, so.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes a little more sense with your dad coming in, too, because where else was your mom going to look for a husband? Like, that sounds like a very small dating pool.
Yeah, that's right. That's a whole other issue. Yeah. So I guess that idea that I was always being watched, and I think all the aunties and uncles as well, like, I always felt like you'd walk into the hall and you'd be like, ooh, you know, like, Vanessa's wearing a short skirt, or Vanessa's wearing big boots, or like everyone's sort of talking about each other. Just
well, that's consistent among all ecclesias that I've
really
yeah. And even some of the other stuff, like even in my ecclesia growing up, I remember the topic of marriage and divorce coming up, and people being on a very strict traditionalist view overall, being like, no, like, that's not right, we don't want to condone this. There was this strong sentiment about that. And even the idea of we're the only ones who are truly Christadelphians, or like doing it right, I think is common to pretty much every branch of the Christadelphians. So that's why I'm like, is that what makes them unique, or is that what makes them a Christadelphian?
So yeah, I'm the chosen of the chosen ones.
We all like to think that. We do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that that Victorian thing you brought up, because it did feel very, very Victorian, and that kind of purity, and of course all the men are in charge and the women just have to sit there and do the cooking and straighten up the tablecloth and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I talk about it, people are like, "Oh, did you grow up in a cult?" And I'm like, "Nah, wasn't that exciting?" And it's like,
well, that's the thing, is like, it was so boring. There's no Netflix special on it. Exactly. There's no like newspaper clippings of like, "Oh, they did this." Like, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, because I ended up doing a PhD, and I wrote about, it was called Losing My Religion. So it was about like deconverting from religions, and I wrote half of it was creative and half of it was looking at other authors who had also left their religions, and how there's sort of like a remnant of this religious thought and language in their work, like even years after they'd left.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent probably like the first year of my PhD going, okay, am I in a cult? Am I a sect? And then I'm like, no, it's a sect. And then that's when I went, yeah, okay, so a cult's got a leader and it's about money and everything. And although the Christadelphians, they don't have leaders, got the ABs or the arranging brethren, they're in charge, but they're kind of not in charge, so it's not culty enough.
Well, they rotate in. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit broken down, so it's not just one arranging brother.
Exactly, and then it wasn't really about money either, because they never seemed to have much money. So then if people go, oh, you grew up in a cult, but no, it was a sect, and it was a pretty boring sect. Like everyone just wore grey suits and kind of stood up for hymns and sang really badly.
Oh, they at least wore grey, not blue. Okay.
Yeah, we had grey, but then I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, so it was like grey suits and a bit of brown as well. So
I'm sure brown had a moment, plaid had a moment.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I got to the blue. I think I'd left before the blue suits came in.
And before the denim skirts, the floor-length denim skirts, were you in that era?
No.
Oh, wow. That was a classic of my generation. And I think Gen X and millennials had just these long-ass denim skirts.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. With like platform sandals. It was a look.
Oh, wow. That's very frenzy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if other sisters will agree on the shoes, but I remember those like chunky ones. Yeah.
Oh, I think that might have been a bit daring for my ecclesia.
Well, I think the groups that want to be traditional tend to hold to being more conservative.
Yeah, I think we didn't. There was another ecclesia that the women wore headscarves all the time. We weren't that bad, but we were.
Okay.
Yeah, we were pretty much long skirts and sensible shoes and berets. So many berets.
Okay, yeah, very French.
Yeah.
And do you remember any other groups that you would associate with? Because I know there's a lot where they're like, we can hang out with them at youth group, but we can't break bread with them. Did you ever experience that, where you would mingle with other groups to some degree?
No, we weren't really supposed to do that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I went and stayed with my great uncle in England, and he was from Central, like the main group. Mm-hmm. I don't think they called themselves Central, but we called them Central.
I think they actually do. I think it's a common term for the group that follows the Birmingham Amended Statement of Faith. I believe is considered Central.
That's right. Yeah, so we stayed with them, and then they went off to the meeting, and they were like, come along, and we were like, oh no, we can't do that. Like
now with you heathens. Yeah. You Christadelphian heathens.
I'm so embarrassed about that now. It was so rude because we were staying at their house.
And you're staying with them, yeah. Thanks for letting us stay with you, but we clearly think you're lesser people than us.
Yeah.
Let's judge you while we're here in your house.
No, and that we can't even set foot in your ecclesia. Like, we won't break bread, but we can't even set foot and listen to your, your talk. It was very arrogant. I really,
Okay.
yeah, that was kind of the attitude. So yeah, we'll
Okay.
always have to be separate, and then separate from the other Christadelphians as well.
That kind of explains the dying out thing.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to keep isolating ourselves from absolutely everyone until there's none of us left.
Yeah, that's it. And then, what happened?
Yeah, what happened here? It's like we shot ourselves in the foot or something. Yeah, so strange.
No.
What happened?
No, it's just the world. The world just doesn't want to listen. You know?
Yeah, people must be falling away to that wicked world.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what happened to me is that, I mean, I've jumped ahead a bit, but I went to university and...
We already know you have a PhD. We really jumped around.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. We'll loop back. We'll loop back later. Tell me what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's like they were always scared. So when I was there, it would have been it would have just been the new millennium. Is that right? But, no one had really gone to university. And then I always wanted to go to uni. I wanted to learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just there's so much I wanted to learn and just had a very curious mind and tried to fit in so badly. Like I really wanted to fit in.
Like at school or at the ecclesia?
At the ecclesia. Like at school I was just a mouse. I didn't really say anything. I was just so quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I can't really make friends with these people and,
Because they're all evil, that's hard.
Yeah, and then my best friend was Catholic and I remember that was hard.
Your parents probably didn't like that.
Yeah. So, I think when I got to my teen years, which is a common thing in your podcast, isn't it? I started going, this doesn't make sense and I don't like the control, and I'm sort of learning all about environmental issues and anti-racism and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, these people don't care because Jesus is going to fix it. He's going to come back and...
Jesus is going to fix it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was talking about it last night, actually. I came in one day to Sunday school and I'd been reading the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You went all into it. You're like, we're gonna learn some anti-racism here.
Yeah, because I think because my dad was a really, really big reader. And and he would always go to the library and he would just borrow anything you want. I was reading anything. So I read this autobiography of Malcolm X and then came into Sunday school and they were like, how you going, Vanessa? I'm like, great. Okay, do you know that Jesus was black? And they're
okay, tell me what she said.
They were just shocked. They were, okay.
Fantastic. I like that. Again, I love when these teenage women in Christadelphia open their mouths. I love it. Because there's so many times where it's like the men are controlling, the men don't want you to say it, and then the women are like, nah, we're gonna say it. I love every instance when that comes up.
Yeah. I love the 15-year-old, 14-year-old Vanessa, just curious and reading and going, I found out this new exciting fact. This is so cool. You won't believe.
You want to learn this new fact? Yes. And they're just like, no.
I mean, why not? Why couldn't Jesus have been black? I mean, I like it. Yeah.
I mean, there weren't a lot of white people in that area at the time, so...
Yeah. Well, your ecclesia is very, very white as well. Ours.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We had... Growing up, I remember there was a handful of people of other races. I remember, we had, one Asian family. We had a handful of families that were black. But it was 90%, 95% white, probably. I don't know how much that's changed now. I think some of those families left. I think one or two families came in, but probably around that ratio still. Predominantly white.
Yeah, same with ours. I think. Oh, we had one Holocaust survivor, amazing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and one Indigenous guy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we had a guy came in who was Italian, and that was ooh, so exotic. Yeah.
It's funny how regional it tends to be, and you can trace a lot of it to where the preaching efforts were, because even looking at, like, if you mapped where all the ecclesias are, you can almost exactly map where John Thomas and Robert Roberts did preaching tours. Like,
Really?
it is a map for most of it. Where the ecclesias were set up are generally in the same area where they were set up in the 1800s. It's
That's
just crazy.
amazing.
And then
Yeah.
again with Australia, it kind of trickled straight from like Europe. They were going over there, and Robert Roberts settled over there, and so that kind of like created that strong faction in Australia. But for us, there's a lot of John Thomas, because Robert Roberts, I think, only toured there like once, maybe twice. But it was pretty much like where John Thomas was going. It's like where he was able to go, mostly East Coast. And then like there's just a little fringe on the West Coast. If you look at like the center of America, there's hardly any. It's like these little ones pop up.
It's funny how it kept going, isn't it? Like, yeah, okay, did these preaching tours and convince some people, but then they kept it going through generations. It's amazing.
They really have. Yeah, it's interesting to see it. And even like reading about like people in the families that are still like holding the torch after all these generations, because sometimes in these history books there's names of people and like those families still exist, and like that's their like forebears. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that sense of we are the chosen ones, we've got the truth, that's so seductive, I think, and so hard to walk away from at times. Just to go, I've been given this unique opportunity that not many other people get, and we've been given this interpretation of the Bible, and if we just do the right thing, then we're going to get this eternal reward. It's hard to walk away from.
And at the same time, I think almost all religions are that way, where there's a tendency to teach children their religious views, and often, but not always, set the expectation of these are now your views and you are going to keep these during your life. You know, I think every parent is a little different in where they are with that, but generally they pass on their religious views. And so I think it's come on up on the podcast before, where it's very circumstantial what you're going to believe too. It's pretty much just whatever your parents or general culture around you believe.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask was, did you go to like any Bible schools and camps? Because you mentioned the one trip to the UK, but it sounds like otherwise you weren't really connecting a lot with other groups and activities.
Yeah, no, so we'd have camps at Christmas and we'd have Easter camps, I think. So
what do you do at those ones?
The Christmas camps went for a week and a bit, I think, sort of from round about Christmas Day to New Year's Day. So we'd all go down and take caravans and tents and go to like a caravan park somewhere. When I was growing up, it was very public. Like we'd take down like the bottom paddock of a caravan park, and then we'd be in this, they called it the ecclesial tent, and it was just this canvas tent. And so we'd all be singing hymns and everything in the middle of this caravan park.
You're sure you weren't in a cult? You're sure?
It's just embarrassing.
And it makes sense because it was summer in Australia then, around Christmas time, right? Okay, so it's like the time you would want to do, like, because we always did like our summer Bible schools too in the warmer months.
Yeah. And so we'd have...
And just be in this giant tent with all of your family. Singing hymns to God.
Oh,
okay.
Gosh. And then sort of just meeting all the other people in the caravan park at the laundry and the toilets and everything. But yeah.
What did they do for you kids? What else did you do besides sing to the Lord?
Oh, we did heaps of stuff. Like we'd play tennis, we'd go on excursions, we'd go swimming. Like it was amazingly good fun. Okay. It was great. Yeah, it was really good.
You didn't have to like sit through classes? Was there like Bible crafts?
No. We'd have maybe an hour, and then we'd get on to the good stuff, like go play tennis.
Good plan. Honestly, that is, you're selling Bible schools a little bit more again. Yeah, we should have done that model instead of our own model. I feel like in all my memories, we like rarely had air conditioning, so it was hot. But yeah, we were usually at college, like universities, they would like rent out, and then it was like giant cafeterias for food, and then classes all morning, all grouped by age, and then activities in the afternoon, then classes and like events at night, devotion, bed. It was like all day, pretty much like Christadelphian planned activities and a lot of like classes based.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, yours sounds so much more fun. And like I was an outdoorsy kid, be like, yeah, we're going on a group hike, awesome. Yeah. Let's go catch salamanders by the creek, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because ours was so much stricter in a lot of ways, but then a lot freer as well.
And again, it's interesting too, some of these dichotomies where your dad's like this really wide reader, but he absolutely can't tolerate any differences with Christadelphian views, but he can tolerate the wider world having all these disparate views. And same with that, where it's like, it seems like they're very conservative, but then at the same time, they're like, let's just have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. And sort of like youth groups were always a lot of fun. There was a lot of outings. We'd go and do stuff like mystery picnics where we'd, follow.
Sounds...
Yeah.
What is a mystery picnic? No, what is that? I'm scared that someone's gonna like give you something scary to eat and be like, "It's a mystery. What's in this sandwich?" I'm a little nervous.
Do you know what? I can't honestly remember too much because I'm conflating that with car rallies. So we'd have a car rally and we'd all be given like bits of paper and we had to find clues and then find out where we were going. Yeah.
Okay.
And now I don't know what a mystery picnic is. I'll have to let you know.
Let me know what a mystery picnic is. Maybe we'll do that someday. Sounds fun. A little scary, but fun.
Yeah, because how did we know where to go if it was a mystery picnic? I'll get back to you.
Okay, sounds good. So those were some of the events and stuff that you were involved in. Anything else that you wanted to share about, like the ecclesia or memories of your younger years related to being a Christadelphian?
Yeah, I just remember the hall very vividly. So we were always in a rented hall because our fellowship didn't really believe in owning a hall most of the time I was growing up. And so they would always rent this sort of series of community halls. Our one was in Doncaster. It was sort of like a middle suburb of Melbourne, this massive wooden floored hall, and sometimes we'd get in and someone would have had a 21st and there'd be like a reek of beer and stuff
Oh, that's not the vibe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you are bringing the wine, so...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They used to keep the wine in a cupboard, and because we've got this thing, when learner drivers have just got their licence, they're not allowed to have any alcohol in their bloodstream at all when they're driving.
Okay.
So they're called P-platers, which are probationary drivers. So for 3 years, you're not allowed to have any alcohol.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so then, of course, if you're 18 to, say, 21 and you've got your P-plates and then you drink the wine at the meeting, they were really worried that P-platers could get pulled over and not be...
dinged.
Yeah, so they bought this...
How much wine were you guys having?
Just like a little thimble for me.
It's supposed to be like a thimble. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't even hit your bloodstream. I'm pretty sure you just immediately metabolize that. I don't think I'd be that worried. No one's wobbling from that wine.
I know, but technically, yeah.
Technically?
Yeah.
You would think they would have a religious exemption.
I wonder. Yeah. Maybe they didn't. So they got this terrible wine and it was just so watered down. It was revolting. And then they
watered it down. I'm used to the vinegary ones that they would get.
It was awful. Everyone would kind of drink it and then grimace. It was like, oh.
Yeah.
We're thinking of the Lord. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, the Lord doesn't taste good.
No. So they kept it in a cupboard and they kept all the little wine glasses and the jars and everything in this cupboard in the hall and had a lock on it. And then one day they came in and someone had broken into this cupboard. And then they drank some of the wine, but then they poured it back because it was so disgusting.
I saw where that was going. I was like, oh no. I can only imagine the disappointment. There's oh my God, people drink this? Fantastic. Well, clearly it worked out. It was a good game plan having the worst wine because no one will be tempted to sin and steal it.
And then I can't stand wine to this day. I'm just oh.
Yeah, understandable when that's the exposure.
Yeah. And then when I went and lived in England, they had really nice wine. I'm whoa.
No, okay. Well, that's why they're having so many services.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's just that feeling of, that's what I miss the most, I think, in the early years when I left, was that I would go online and find Christadelphian hymns, like just that bare piano playing,
Okay.
and people singing, like some are good, some are really off key, some are really high, like that kind of mismatch of voices all droning along to these hymns. Like I really
These
miss
Victorian
that.
hymns, yeah. It's all online, girl. You can still listen to it.
I know, I don't have the
It's
need
all
anymore.
over.
Yeah, but I did have the need for a few years there, and people I'd be living with would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, it just makes me feel happy." Yeah.
Honestly, since starting this podcast, hymns come to mind more than ever. I'm just like, oh my God, that's still in there. It comes out. Yep.
Yeah.
Unlocked memories.
Yeah, I used to be able to sing if a song came on. I used to be able to know all the words, but thankfully all of that's kind of fading now. So recently there was a tune to one of the hymns, and I was like, oh, I've forgotten all the words. How nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got that to look forward to someday in the future.
Yeah.
Because my parents would have us sing a hymn and say a prayer before bed.
Oh.
So we were singing the same songs all the time since I was in elementary school, all the way through being in my 20s. So I'm pretty sure a lot of it's really locked in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because I'm a teacher now, and they were doing something about, like, where did a story come from, and it was like a biblical story. And I got it wrong. I was like, there was 3 sons, and I completely forgot the names. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm really progressing. I'm forgetting everything. It's so good. It's like it's being pushed out and it's being replaced with new things, and I just love that.
Yeah, it's the use it or lose it, and you're not using it, so you're losing it,
Yeah, so there's hope. Like all that deeply indoctrinated stuff, it does eventually get pushed out.
Yeah, you can evolve and change and not have it be such a big part of your life anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, were you a baptized member?
I was, yeah. So because when I was 14, 15, I'm like, no, I don't want to go anymore. This is all rubbish.
Yeah, when you were like a teenager, you said getting into those years, yeah.
Yeah, and my mum was good. Like, she'd go, if you don't want to go, don't go. But then there was just that pressure, like, then I won't be able to see all my friends, and then that's all my family, and what am I going to do? And, I got really anxious about it, so I kept going.
Another teenager thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss out, and so I kept going. But then I was like really rebellious, and I was really into sort of alternative music, and I'd turn up in my big Doc Martens, and that was so outrageous. And of course reading Malcolm X and all that kind of stuff, and getting into Public Enemy, and just trying to explore things. But then in 1991, I would have been like 17, 18, when the US-led Gulf War broke out, when Kuwait was invaded by Iraq. And I just went, oh no, it's all happening. It's actually happening.
The prophecy.
Yeah. And just because I did a lot of research for my book that I wrote, and actually looked at old newspaper articles, and we had like a big broadsheet called The Age, which was quite reputable, and the extra, just like one Saturday, it just said what if, and it had these massive headline, what if, and then it had what if Russia invades Israel, what if blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, like even the newspapers saying this, it's not just us. And it just that air of uncertainty when that war was going on. I'm like, oh, okay,
fear.
Yeah, and I was also going out with like a Christadelphian guy as well, and he was baptized, and I was like, oh, what do I do here? So yeah, I got baptized, and I nearly didn't get baptized. So during the interview,
let's hear this story.
Okay.
I want it all.
So during the interview, one of the more hardcore members, so even in the group there was more hardcore members, and who wasn't related, he interviewed me to make sure that, I guess, all my indoctrination had gone in properly.
Yes.
And he wanted me to say, he kept saying, oh, Vanessa, you're not going to mix with the world. You're not going to go to worldly events. You're not going to go mix and go to the theatre, the football and the like. And I
Why
was
does
like,
it sound
well,
like him hypnotizing you?
yeah, really.
You will not go to the movie theater, Vanessa. Just you saying it as commands. I'm just confused. I'm like, who is this grown man trying to tell you this stuff? Sorry to interrupt. I was just like, what?
Yeah, and
John Thomas would be proud. He's the first hypnotist, Christadelphian.
Oh, right. Was he?
Uh-huh. Well, if you listen to enough history episodes, you're going to find out about that time he was writing about his hypnotism experiments in the Christadelphian magazine. Yep.
Wow.
Spiritualism episode, yeah.
See, this is why I'm scared to listen to too many of your podcasts, because I listen to a few and then all the language is coming back. It's just, oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yes, tell me about your baptism. Sorry.
My granddad had kind of filled me in. He's like, he's going to ask these questions, but he was a little bit more normal. And he was like, just say, I will attempt not to. I'll try not to. Like, to get around it. And then this guy just kept pushing me, saying, no, you will not go to these things, you will not go to the theatre, you will not go to the movies, you will not go to the football. Like, I hate football, I'm never going to football. But I was like, no, I will attempt not to. Like, I was really just standing my ground. I'm quite proud of myself for that. And so then he was like, oh, he didn't know what to do. So he sort of got in his car and drove around the corner, because we live around the corner from my grandparents.
You just left your interview? I think you won. He's like, I don't know how to pass or fail, or all I can do is escape.
Exactly. It's a woman who's not backing down. Don't know.
Yeah, we're supposed to control her. She was supposed to say yes, sir, whatever you say.
So yeah, I drove around the corner to my grandparents' house, and my granddad just went, oh, don't worry, I sorted him out. So then we had the actual baptism. So we're all in one of my cousin's houses. I'm at the front. I'm in my beret. He's at the front with me, this hardcore dude. And,
in the front of where? Like a pool, a bathtub?
No, we're just in the house, and in the garage was this, not a blow-up pool, but like a portable pool.
Okay. Because you said you had a rented hall, so that's why I was curious where they did baptisms.
Yeah, so the hall was only rented for Sundays. So the baptisms were always done in people's houses.
And where you have a water hookup.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably don't have that in like the community center.
No, just bringing in our bath here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm at the front being interviewed, like going through Genesis or whatever. Okay. And I get through all that okay. And then he says, okay, now we'll get to, your personal conduct. And said, can you tell me, Vanessa, that you will not go to the theatre, the movies, football, and the like? And
in front of everyone now?
Yeah, this is in front of everyone. And
he leveled it up. I see what he did there.
Yeah, total power boss move.
Yep.
And, so I went, I will attempt not to go to the football and movie and the like. Yeah.
Look your grandfather in the eye and say that.
I did. And then he went, no, Vanessa. I'm like, oh... You will not go to movies and the like. And I just looked at my granddad and I'm like, what do I do? And he kind of just shrugged. It's like, what an idiot.
Just like winked at you, like, you just tell him what you're going to do.
Yeah, just do it. So I was like, oh, okay, but with no attitude, because I was very meek, I think.
You say you were, but I think it was outwardly, perhaps. Sounds like you were very strong inside.
Yeah, that's been my whole life is I'll conform, but inwardly I'll be like, nah, this is complete rubbish, and then I'll maneuver my way out of it. So so in front of them all, I was like, okay, I will not go.
I love that you keep rolling your eyes every single time you bring that up.
All right. So then I would solemnly promise I'd never go to movies or the theatre or the football, which I never did anyway.
You've never been to the movies? Come on.
Oh, well, for the whole time I was baptised for maybe 3 years. And then Keanu Reeves' Speed came out. And
Keanu Reeves gotcha.
Oh, my God. He was so hot in that, like ridiculously hot. And that was it, I broke. And then, so for every Sunday, I'd be like, the wine.
Please, God, forgive me. I wanted to see Keanu Reeves.
I'm so sorry. It's like just that. Oh, that was so worth it because that film was good. And but yeah, like then I've broken it, and like after that, it was kind of like, okay, I can't keep this promise, and it's my fault. Like I couldn't keep it, but he was an idiot for making me do that. But
yeah, did he recite, that Bible verse where Jesus said you're not allowed to go to the movie theaters? Because where was that one in the Bible? Because it was a Bible test, right? For this baptismal interview, it wasn't about control or anything, right? No. This wasn't about control. No.
Yeah. So
yeah, definitely not a cult. No. That couldn't be.
Okay, so technically a sect with culty tendencies. How about that?
We'll move in that direction. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of guilt and that feeling of inadequacy because I remember like coming out of the bath and just going, oh my goodness, I haven't sinned, like that amazing clear feeling. And then
Pure.
and then the next thing, seeing this guy and going, what an idiot.
That lasted all of 2 seconds.
Exactly. Can I hop back in again?
Oh, man, I'm still this sinful human. Ugh.
Oh, no. Yeah, so I lasted a few years and did my best. Like I was a Sunday school teacher for a little bit. I was a table sister. So a table sister had to, we had this elaborate lace tablecloth and had another.
The tablecloths,
Yeah, but to make sure that was straight and, pouring
and pure
out
white. You can't get wine on it.
Oh, no. Yeah. And, the disgusting wine and the bread and going up there.
What kind of bread did you guys have? Did you do the unleavened or like a real loaf?
No, it was a real loaf, just cut into 6. Yeah.
Yeah, like a crusty sourdough wouldn't be that bad.
But you wouldn't be able to chew on it, would you? You'd start coughing off, I reckon.
Well, you get that big crunch, though, which would be kind of funny to hear throughout the meeting hall. Like, I remember it's like the crusty bits. So I feel like everyone would go for like the white fluffy bit from what I remember. Like I remember even like having like that flat white bread, like the ultra processed American crap, and having that, and everyone taking like a pinch out of the middle of it.
That's it. That's what we did.
Yeah. I don't think anyone ever went for the crust, actually.
No, I don't think you could. Yeah. So I lasted a fair bit with that, and then I got married at 20 as well.
To a Christadelphian?
Of course, to a Christadelphian.
Yeah. How'd you find one?
Oh, well, he came from England, so I went to England as well.
Oh, okay. Yep, we've all been there. Yeah. The teenage travel to find a spouse. Yep. just keep roulette with countries until you find one.
Just one, just someone.
Yeah, Canada, America, UK. We've got options. Australia.
Yeah. So I got married like really young, and he was 23, I think. So we were both really, really young.
Yeah.
And like completely clueless. Like all I'd known was the Christadelphians, and desperately wanted to go to uni. So I got into uni after I'd left, but then the Gulf War happened, and I got baptized instead. So I was
instead. So you gave up college for a time?
Yeah, I did. So I left school at 18, finished, and then went to England for a year.
Okay.
And then before I went, I'd got baptised and then came back and just started working. I deferred my course because I got into something and, just started working. But there was always this, I really felt like I was missing out. Like I really, really, really wanted to go to uni. Somehow part of me just knew that was the key to, I just wanted to learn because I was always a big reader as well, I think because of my dad, and just had learnt so many things and just wanted to continue to learn. And my husband at the time had said, no, you can't go to uni. If you go to uni, you have to study childcare or teaching, I think it was, female-coded courses.
Christadelphian approved, traditional patriarchal stuff. But
and even nursing was a bit out there because...
Wow, because that historically has been a strong female independent career path.
Yeah.
Especially with wars and stuff, they always needed women to be in those roles of caretaking for the men still, but...
Yeah, it's a bit heroic though, isn't it? We need to be a bit more mousy than that, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, so I didn't want to study childcare, funnily enough. And yeah.
Don't blame you. It's okay.
Yeah.
You probably also wanted to have a kid at like the first year of
Oh,
marriage too. I would
absolutely.
believe
And I
it.
was like, I'm
Yep.
too young. I'm not
Trap
ready. Oh,
her.
please. Yeah, I really
Yep.
didn't. And like I was
Keep
20.
her busy with babies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like I managed not to have a child for 6 years, which I think was pretty good going. Like that was an achievement. And I just enrolled myself at uni, but off campus, and I studied journalism because I always wanted to write. Yeah.
Sure, I'd love that. Independent thinking.
Yeah, research.
Curious.
Yeah,
research.
yeah. So I did that. I did that off campus for a year and a half, I think. And then it got to a bit where you had to interview someone in person about something interesting. And I didn't know anyone. Like, I didn't know anyone outside of the Christadelphians to interview. And I was just so shy and retiring. And, I can't interview anyone. So I sort of dropped that. And I didn't know anything about universities. And I just rang up the uni and went, oh, I'm going to stop this. Like, what do I do? And she goes, oh, you do know there are other majors? Like, you could change majors? I was like, what's a major?
Oh, man. Well, especially not having had, it sounds like any family members really go to university. No one to really talk to you about it. No one to just watch, go through that process to kind of learn. And this was pre-internet where you could just Google any question that pops into your head and get an answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to quite a rough high school as well. So not many people went to uni from there as well. So it just wasn't really a pathway. Mm-hmm. But so then I changed majors and studied literature. Like, oh my goodness, reading books, I could study them as well. And then studied creative writing as well. And so then I went on campus and studied full time. But I think I was working as well. But yeah, so it was like learning about books and reading things. And we had one teacher who was like a real feminist Marxist, and on May Day she came in with the International, and like it was amazing.
She's one to know. Cool.
Yeah, she was cool, and just opening my mind, and it was great. Like, it was slow, but it was really great. And I was still going to the meetings and still believing, but just learning other things as well. And one of my family members, it might have been my granddad as well, I was like, oh, you'll go to uni and you'll get funny ideas. And, you know, I went to uni and got funny ideas. So, yeah.
Do you regret going to uni and having funny ideas?
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. I agree. I love it. If it's a good fit for you, you should go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just finally left. I was getting really, really sick of it, and I think very unhappy with the marriage as well, because all I could see ahead of me was I'm going to live as a Christadelphian woman, have children, and that's my life. And I wanted to do more. Really wanted to do more. Like, I wanted to write, I wanted to travel, I wanted to do all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I was getting really, really depressed. And because that thing as well, like all that acceptive clause stuff, I was like, the only way out is if he cheats or he dies. Yeah.
Yikes.
It's really bad. It's like either he dies, I die. Like, what do we do? And so I was sort of having these fantasies, I think, where I've kind of setting my face like, oh, the door opens, oh, officer. So sad to see you. Like, really bad, but it was just like that extreme. Like, what can you do? You can't leave. You can't say I'm unhappy.
That's just not an option.
Yeah.
It just wasn't an option.
Yeah. So it's like either death or he cheats, which he was never going to do. So what was the option? So, yeah, then I left.
I mean, you cheat, I guess.
Well, yeah, luckily for him.
I mean, women's empowerment, okay?
No, but luckily for him, I had a boyfriend years later, and that enabled him to claim the acceptive clause.
Okay, so he could get remarried later.
Yeah, because technically I was not divorced at that stage, even though we weren't together. I know. It's amazing how they can twist things. So, yeah, he was all able, and he was like the hero, because I was the terrible one who left. So, yeah. Anyway.
Can you tell me more about the feelings you were having that kind of started you with leaving? Any thoughts you were having around that time? What did it feel like?
I just was really unhappy with the control that when I talked about earlier about people watching, it was really intense. Like, I was just like, oh, she didn't put her arm through his arm, are they having marriage troubles? It's like just that intense
microscope, living under a microscope.
And just, I'd walk in and go, okay, I've got to just try not to do anything wrong and get into trouble today and to not cause any attention to myself, and really, really hard. And I think, again, with learning stuff at uni and going, oh my goodness, there's a whole other life out there, and other things have happened that I know nothing about, and feminism and, all kinds of stuff. It just made me go, oh, I really, really don't know much about anything and I want to learn more. And I didn't leave doubting them, because I didn't go, oh my goodness, it's all a load of crap and I'm going to leave. It was just, I couldn't live that lifestyle anymore. I was just really, really depressed. And I just couldn't do it. So at one stage I just went, it's either I leave or else I'm honestly going to kill myself. That's where it got to. So I was like, I don't want to do that, so I have to leave. And so one day I just was like, I think my then husband was sort of stomping around, and I just went, oh, I don't have to put up with this. Like, I just had this bing. And
like epiphany,
Yeah, I just went, oh, I'm leaving. And he was like, what? Yeah. But it's sort of been, it was just that sudden, I think. Just, it's sort of been building up. But, I just went, oh, my goodness, I do actually have choices. I think it was that epiphany that it doesn't have to be this death or nothing. It can be, I actually have some power and I can choose to leave.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're raised to not have any agency over your life and to always be under the control of others, to not even realize you do have control over your life. Like, if you have the physical means to, like, walk out the door where you're not, like, locked in or something, potentially you can leave. You can change your life. And it's crazy because that's never presented as an option of both leaving the ecclesia, leaving Christadelphian family units, things like that. But you can. But you don't even consider it as an option.
No, it doesn't even because you see other people leave and they just disappear and they're talked about
into the ether.
Yeah, and then how much tragedy they've brought on their remaining families, and it's just, oh.
And how sinful they are, whatever it was, the world got them, kind of that fear of like, oh, they fell, they fell away.
Yeah, so I mean, it was bad when I left because it was all I knew. It was all my family, because my dad's side, like his parents, I think I still had my granddad, but that was it. Like, he was the only child. I didn't have any family on that side. But it was everyone. Luckily, my brother had never joined, so, I had him, and some of my cousins hadn't joined either. So I had some people that had left, but, mainly it was everything I knew, and so suddenly I had nothing. Like, I just didn't know what to do with myself. I've got this freedom now, I can do what I want, but what do I want? Yeah, exactly.
Who am I?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the other part of the problem. That's the problem of leaving, that really difficult part.
Yeah, so I struggled for many years just going, what am I doing with myself? And like, I love studying, still studying, and getting really fulfilled with that, and sort of moved unis and ended up doing honours and then moved on to a PhD, and like that was all going really, really well. But just still really obsessed with religion and trying to unpick, like, what have I just been through? And I remember, one of my uni friends at the time went, oh, well, you do know it's like a religious structure, like a construct almost.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just didn't understand that concept, that it was this world that had been constructed and I'd been a part of it, and that it wasn't real in some ways.
Yeah, you're stepping out of it into the real world, because it's growing up in it. Your entire mind is raised to believe that your world is in this bubble, and everyone else is in the bubble, and they're like, the bubble is safe, the bubble's wonderful, you should stay in the bubble your whole life, we can help you with that. And every week they go, we're so grateful to be part of this bubble, and you meet and like, reinforce that constantly, and everyone else outside the bubble is bad. So I think that's why it's so hard, because you don't know how to interact with people outside the bubble. You don't know how to talk to them. You don't know the same cultural, like, pop culture or even like history as these people. You don't have the same skills and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, oh my God, there's a whole world outside of this.
Yeah.
And it hits you, and then you have to adjust to that and learn about it. I remember reading so much just because I felt so uneducated.
Yes.
And I'd been like smart and in schools, but culturally, historically, like all of this stuff, like my parents never talked about the world. The world was always just this bad, vague thing. But being in it, I was like, oh, like I want to know who Gloria Steinem is. Like I want to know these names. Like who's Malcolm X? Like I want to know the history so I can understand the world I'm living in. Like what's going on with this political group and this thing? What are they talking about when they're talking about this thing that happened? Historically, like what did Nixon do? Like you just don't know because your parents never talked about it. And so then you're like, I need more knowledge, because realizing for me, there was all those gaps. And everyone else was operating on a different level than I was, because I was just like, I've been reading the Bible in my free time and listening to Bible talks and spending time hanging out with people who only talk about the Bible. It's so hard to transition into that world and make that leap. It's like jumping over a bridge. Just is so far from where we were.
Yeah, and just feels so different, because when I went to uni, like went on campus, I was maybe 5 or 6 years older than everyone, but I was just so innocent, like so ignorant. And another friend had said, it's not stamped on your forehead that you've had this religious upbringing, like only you know this, and it doesn't show exactly, but yeah.
And it's nice that I think too, with being in college or university, you're also kind of anonymous. Like your friend was kind of saying, it's like no one knows who you are. So unless you have like cues in the way you dress or something, no one's really going to know.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's nice because think of the contrast compared to life in the ecclesia, with everyone knowing all of your business and judging you and like laser vision on you, and they're not afraid to tell you when they think you fucked up. Whereas like you can just go sit down next to someone and they'll just like move their backpack so you have a little more room, and you're just like, oh, okay, like I can just be myself and just take up this space here. Okay, that's fine.
So nice. It's so
no
nice.
Commentary. Yeah. Don't have to talk, just nothing. And you never see each other again, and it's fine.
Yeah.
You just exist.
The friends I made there, they said, oh, you're from the country, aren't you? They just knew I was a bit different.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
They looked a little lost.
Yeah. But yeah.
Sheltered, though, is probably what they're picking up on.
Sheltered, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember some of them just saying, oh, let's try and get her to swear, like, because I just was...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't swear when I was younger. I couldn't even read books where people swore, so changed a lot.
It really has.
Yeah.
Yeah, so freeing and so scary at the same time, because the whole time I was at uni doing my undergrad degree, I didn't speak. Like, I didn't speak in tutes. I didn't say anything because I thought I didn't know enough to have an opinion on anything. So I just remember, like, the last tute of my undergraduate degree, I said something and everyone laughed, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've been missing this the whole time. Yeah, so I sort of found my feet a little bit. Like, okay, I can be a valid member of society, I think, and that idea that I'm a former fundamentalist Christian is not on my forehead, and I can, because like, when I was a Christadelphian, I was trying to pass as a Christadelphian, and then I'm outside and trying to pass as like a normal person, so I hadn't quite integrated that sense of who I was, I think, and it started happening there.
Well, we weren't really taught to cultivate that self-identity. I think for a lot of people, when you're always trying to fit in a mold, you sacrifice yourself, and so when you leave, that's something that's really common to grapple with.
That's true, yeah. It's taken years, so if I've been like 26 years out, I'm still having counselling and still going, oh no, I've had this thought, and I'm like, this person's watching me and judging me, and like the counsellor will be like, well, that's your religious upbringing. Like, it's still there. It's not anywhere near as intense, but it still rises up.
I wonder, was it worse when you were living with a husband who would potentially be like surveilling you in the house almost, be like, is she a good Christadelphian? Or was it really just at the meeting, you think, that was really teaching you that?
I don't think so. He wasn't really like that.
Okay.
Yeah. He knew I wasn't quite the Christadelphian wife I could have been, I think. Yeah.
That he signed up for, the one who never goes to the movie theaters. You promised.
Yeah, I didn't feel that, but I think it was more judging myself and going, I'm trying to be so good, but I just can't do it, and then feeling really bad about myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are we ready to transition into your creative project? Can I ask you some questions about that time in your life?
Sure.
All right. So, you are the author of a novel published in Australia in 2013 entitled Holy Bible. And we actually connected back in 2019 because I was interested in getting a copy of your book here in America. And I'm so excited to have you on the podcast to talk about that too. So, I wanted to talk about it during your interview today. And really, because there's not a lot of ex-Christadelphian media out there. This is the first podcast. That's probably the only novel I'm aware of by like an ex-Christadelphian about like former Christadelphian experiences. So first, I want to know what sparked your decision to kind of write this fictionalized account of your experience as a Christadelphian?
I just had to. I was doing a degree in creative writing, and of course I didn't know anything about anything else, and I just
Besides
felt,
religion.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and leaving it. So it sort of became my identity after a while, I think, is that I'm an ex-Christadelphian, and I've got this story to tell, and even the friends I made at uni, they'd be like, you did what? You weren't allowed to what? Like,
Yeah.
and just always got their attention. Like, no, I have to tell this story. I think there's an interesting viewpoint, and I wanted to say what it was like, but also how hard it was how it was to leave, and then how at the end, like, people have choices as well, and sometimes they don't make the best choices for themselves too. So yeah, I just felt really strongly that people would want to hear about this. I think, like, I had a quirky, interesting story that I thought might be interesting to the outside world as well.
Yeah, I remember even going on Goodreads once and they had a list of like cult survivor books and it was like hundreds of books. Like people are interested in those stories and there's so many different ones. There's so many different groups and different experiences within these groups. Can you tell us a little bit about who the main character is and talk about some of their conflict and struggles with leaving the Christadelphians?
Yeah, so I made the character, I set it pretty much at the same age, like 17, as I was when like when the Gulf War happened. And so I wanted to explore that idea that we've got this young girl who's on the verge of leaving school and having a career, and then the Gulf War happens and she's got to make a decision, does she get baptized or not? And the character is called Tranquility because I just wanted that idea that, she's in this very untranquil sort of lifestyle. And
the irony in there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like she's very much not tranquil. And she's been born into this family where there's like brothers, like heaps and heaps of brothers, and she's the only girl. And there's one other guy in the ecclesia that is unmarried, and he's like years older than her. And he just sees her being born and is like, I'll wait for her.
Yeah, there's my shot.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that'll resonate with some people too, like the creep at the Bible classes. Yeah, there's always a few of those.
There really is, the unmarried brethren. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then in the book she's obsessed with becoming a nurse. So from a very early age, all she wants to do is to give out medication. So she gets like little lollies and gives them out and medicates everyone. And all she wants to do is to be a nurse. And then kind of the Gulf War happens and she has to sort of leave the family, and that huge pressure to get baptized. Like the dad is a really fundamentalist, hardcore Christadelphian. And the mum, I feel really sorry for the mum character. She's kind of been forced into this life with this horrible fundamentalist guy and just had all these children, and that's her role. And I took, like, one of my aunties told me this story that her mum in her home, in front of her sink, they had this linoleum floor and there was just 2 footprints had been worn into into the
Oh
lawnmower in
yeah,
front of the
from
sink.
being there, always
Yeah,
working at the sink. Yeah, doing all
yeah,
those domestic chores your whole life.
yeah, and that just sort of, that was
Ugh,
the image that got me through with that character. Is like she's just
yeah.
doing all this stuff, and she's smart and funny, but she's just had to subsume all that into her just to be this Christadelphian wife,
Mm.
and living with this horrible guy, and she can't get out of it. That trapped marriage kind of idea.
Being pushed to someone she doesn't want to be with, to
Yeah,
be
exactly.
in this community.
Yeah. And so this tranquility is just trying to get out, and then she's got this creepy older guy who's really like, and he ends up being a lovely, lovely guy. Um, but yeah, he just is waiting for her to get baptized so that he can marry her, and then all these brothers just getting baptized, and some are going off the rails, and some are okay, and then the eldest brother marries an outsider, and so tranquility really bonds with this outsider as well. I don't know. I don't want to give too much away, I guess, in case there's
Yeah, you
like
don't have
massive
to.
book sales
Wow,
in my
all of a sudden
cupboard.
people want to buy this book. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk at all about like themes, messages, and ideas you wanted to convey to readers of this story?
Yeah, I wanted to show it was all about control, really, about trying to control yourself. And there's a lot about Keanu Reeves in there. Like, I took a lot from my life.
This is the Keanu Reeves episode now.
No, yeah, in the book, it's a lot about Keanu Reeves' ass in particular. So.
Okay, girlies.
Which, oh my goodness, the 90s, it was amazing. So,
Wow.
yeah, so I
Okay.
was like that was enough to kind of get someone thinking like there's a world out there that I can't be a part of. So
There's a lot of nice ass out there, huh? The girls don't just settle for that one
yeah, that
in
one
his
old
blue suit.
yeah. So I guess the theme is like that idea that world events are happening that make it seem like all the Christadelphian world is true,
Yeah.
but you've got this career ahead of you that you want to do, you're called to do, you love it, it's all you've ever wanted to do, but then it's sort of getting taken away because you're getting forced to get baptized.
Yeah, the peer pressure is on, but you want to live your own life and make your own decisions.
Yeah,
But they'll use fear and control to try to take you away from that path.
exactly. And it's all about that. I sort of loosely based on things I've seen, but then I kind of took it to the extreme. Like if I think
Yeah.
if
It felt like it was thrown on the fire at the end.
yeah.
I was like, oh, that heated up real fast. I was like, okay.
I think if I was writing it now, I'd be much more tempered and it wouldn't go to those extremes because I was quite youngish.
That was my next question was
Yeah.
what would you do differently since it's been over a decade now since
Yeah.
you wrote that?
Yeah, I'd make it much more subtle. Like I was just sort of getting everything out, sort of spewing everything out and then taking it to extremes. Like I don't think there was a need to show a brother really going crazy like that. I was just like, what would happen if you got all that unfettered power that a man has in the Christadelphian religion? And then what does he do with that when he's just so angry? What would happen? And I think now I would just show kind of those subtle controlling tendencies and kind of those narcissistic tendencies that we're the chosen ones and you know we have to be perfect and all that self-doubt. I'd show much more of that and be a more personal journey, I think, instead of those kind of theatrical big events.
Yeah, I feel like that I would love to see that if someone was writing something like that again, because I think that's something that we really experience a lot and captures a lot of the experiences. Like Leah had even talked about, whereas like the methods of control and coercion and how it can seem so invisible. It's just in what you're saying. You're not even necessarily doing certain things, but there's that sense of like controls of making people your puppets and the way you manipulate them and the way certain brothers can get more power and influence and influence especially sisters. So it is cool to see a woman as the protagonist. But I feel like so much of what we've gone through, like the letters we get sent after we leave and the things we experience there, it was all these like manipulative ways of trying to influence you more so than just yelling at you and being like, you need to do this, you know, the kind of like outrageous theatrical, like you said, kind of methods.
Yeah, it's so right, isn't it? It's just the mind games, I think. and the disappointing other people and living with the guilt and the fear, like so much fear. Like, what if I've made the wrong decision? What if I
what if they
decide
were
to leave?
right?
Yeah.
What if something bad happens to me because I left?
Yeah, and I just remember years afterwards, if something was happening in Israel, I'd be like, oh no, I've really messed up. Yeah.
Oh man, gotta go back.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'll definitely do. So like, I'm glad I wrote the book. It sort of purged a lot of feelings I think I had. But
I'm sure it was cathartic,
yeah.
But I mean, even if you're wrong, at least Keanu Reeves is on the same side as you, you know? We're both heathens. It's okay. We've got Keanu Reeves, so.
What more do we need? Like, really?
What more do we really need? You know?
I've started going, I don't know, the last few years I'll be like, oh, you know, when someone says like, bless you or something, like, oh, thanks Keanu, thanks be to Keanu, like that kind of stuff.
I imagine there's like a little patron saint statue that you could have in your house, like put beads on, like the Catholics do.
They
probably have candles of that. They probably do at least.
They do on Etsy. Believe me.
Etsy is everything. Yeah. Any fandom. And we actually talked about this a little bit before the podcast started, but I shared that I had some nerves when starting the podcast that, you know, just knowing Christadelphians and how they often want to protect the image of the group, about, you know, trying to control people in the group, that they generally want to have a clean image. So I was like, okay, I'm making this podcast. It doesn't reinforce that of saying, oh, here's all the great and wonderful things about this. It is saying, no, here's a really open conversation about this. This is very independent of them. It's not for their approval. So I thought I was going to get a lot of backlash. And I was telling you, I was surprised not to, that I've gotten so many supportive messages from Christadelphians, you know, who are listening to all the different episodes and enjoying the conversations, and a lot of open-minded people have reached out. So I'm curious, how was your book received? And did you get any interesting or unexpected feedback or anything like that?
I was really, really worried about it. Because I don't know if it's just me, but I think it might be a Christadelphian thing of being a people pleaser. Like, I didn't want to upset
I was raised that way too. It was hard to get out of that.
Yeah, and so I was so scared about what my family would think, and like I'd left for many, many years by then, and so like the day before it was due to get published, not even I'd written it and it had been submitted or anything, I was like to my mum, there's this book coming out that I've written, it's about the Christadelphians, but it's not about you, don't worry about it. And then she's like, don't worry, I'll never read it anyway.
Oh, well, okay.
Thank you.
Bullet dodged, I guess. Thank you for not being interested in my life. I appreciate it, Mom. Thank you for not supporting me in this endeavor. I mean, they didn't appreciate you going to college either to learn creative writing, so I guess that tracks.
No, really didn't. Yeah, really had no interest in me going to uni or anything, so yeah, that tracks.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember my grandmother was in the Christadelphian nursing home at the time, and I had like a news article came out about me in The Age, like the national paper or the state paper.
Okay.
And I went and visited her that day, like, and then I just see like The Age actually in the Christadelphian nursing home. Oh no, what am I doing?
Oh no, Grandma's gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, luckily she was a bit past it by that stage, so she didn't know. She didn't know what was going on. I think the main thing was I didn't want to hurt people, and I tried to be like, although the book is quite sardonic and ironic and kind of making fun of people, it's also quite fair, I think, as well. Like, I tried to show that there's good things to get out of it as well, and that people stay because they're getting a lot of good out of it too. So I tried to, in my interviews, just be careful to say, oh, you know, they're not bad either. Like, I really didn't want to sort of slam them. And so I think for the Age article, they'd rung up the central Christadelphians to go, hey, can we get a comment?
Oh, man, they did you dirty there.
They really did.
They're like, we want you to know about this book. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And then they went, oh, well, she's not part of us. And then they forwarded on to one of my cousins who was the head of the old pals at the time.
Yeah, basically. They're like, they're not part of our division. We're the one truth, but you reached out to the wrong branch of the one tree.
Sorry.
Sorry, wrong tree.
Which must have been really confusing for the journalists.
Yeah, they're like, you said you're Christadelphians. We're Central. It's the Birmingham. And they're just like, sorry, you lost me.
Yes.
We can't even pronounce Christadelphian. You want us to know this whole other what? Yeah. Krista what? Krista who?
Yeah, so my cousin rang me and he was like, oh, hi, Nessa, you know, I've heard you got a book out. I've got this journalist has reached out and he said, I really like the book. It was great.
Okay. Well, you did say your family was kind of like a fun time, so that's nice.
Yeah, they're like, pretty cool. That's why I miss them a lot. Like, they had a lot going for them.
A good crowd. It sounds like great personalities.
Yeah.
Like I think if it hadn't been the religious wedge between you guys, I feel like you guys would have had like a really fun family. So
yeah, I reckon too.
That connection, you know?
Awesome time. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they sound like good people to hang out with. It's just the whole other end of things where it's like, oh, we're different. I'm like, oh, well, that stinks because you were fun.
Yeah, you were. You've got the truth. Oh, what a shame.
I'm sorry you have the truth. I'm over here with Keanu Reeves. Sorry. Let me know when you want to come to my sleepover. We're watching Keanu Reeves all night. We've got popcorn too. Let me know when you're ready to go to the movies.
I didn't realize at the time, but everyone was doing it. I was so pure, like having sex before marriage and all kinds of stuff. I had no idea.
I'd be curious to hear if people do a poll on the ex-Christadelphian Facebook group. I feel like it was. My guess is it was a small percentage that actually held to that high standard.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some, you know, but I don't think it was as much as they wanted.
No. I like, that's a whole other story that I'm not going to get into. But...
That's okay. We're already digging. You're telling us a lot of stories. So it's okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got a lot of publicity, I think, for like 3 weeks. This is the book industry, I think. And then I was like famous for 3 weeks and then it moved on. Another book got released and then it was
the next season. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And if someone wanted to read your novel, what would be the best way to get it, especially considering your audience is around the world?
I think it's still on Amazon to buy as an ebook. And if you want a physical copy, you'll have to contact me because they're all in my cupboard. So, yeah.
All right. So maybe I'll have them if you want to email me and I'll forward emails to you.
Yeah, if you can be bothered, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Just so your email's not just out on the internet.
That's
you don't want it to be.
Yeah. And it's like not the most sophisticated email as well.
Yeah. All right. Just like we did this with Amy, if you wanted Amy's thesis, just reach out to me. And I forward it on. And if you're interested in getting a novel shipped to you from Australia, reach out to me and I'll help you get in touch with Vanessa.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
All right.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Ex-Christadelphians have a podcast. We got a novel. What do you think we should have next?
Oh, a murder mystery show?
Murder mystery picnic.
That would be so fun. Love that.
I still don't know what it means, but it sounds fun.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. If anyone can tell us what that entails, let me know.
Please, and I'm dying to know as well. It's one of those things that's been pushed out of my head and replaced by something else.
My thought, Netflix documentary. Because we do have a serial killer. And so true crime documentaries are so popular. Me and my coworkers always recommending them to me, and then I watch them. We're just talking about like murder in the office. Yeah. So I feel like it's like, like they could dive into that. Like you could still like interview the detectives and stuff and family members. But yeah, it was in the United States. I was like, I feel like in the US, people would eat that up. People would love having another serial killer documentary.
I didn't even know this. This is why I'm sort of
true crime episode.
Have you done a true crime episode?
Yeah. Last fall, it was right around October. I was like, you know what? Spooky season. Let's get dark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And part 2 comes, I think probably this year. I'll probably do another one for October. I've got more. I've got more true crime. So I keep telling people, like, if you have anything that has a resource send it my way. I'll incorporate it into the true crime episode. And people have still sent like newspaper articles of Christadelphians getting caught up in criminal activity.
Wow.
Yeah. There was enough now for 2 episodes, so it's been interesting.
Oh, that's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah, and putting it all in one place. I mean, it's interesting. It's maybe not good.
Yes.
You know, you don't necessarily want crime in the world, but it's interesting to learn about. Again, how did you describe it? It's too boring to be a cult. And then I'm like, oh, we've got serial killers. It's like, not quite so boring now.
Were they wearing their blue suits when they did it?
It wasn't the Aussies. As far as I know, the Aussies, they're so conservative in so many of their ecclesias, it sounds like, but they don't seem to be getting into as much criminal activity that's making the news. So I don't know what's going on. That's
good for us. Good on us Aussies.
Good for you guys. Us Americans over here, though. It starts with an American, it ends with an American. Are we surprised?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, not to go on about myself, but it's the whole thing. But my second book, or the one that was published, was a true crime thing as well about, it wasn't. See, I didn't know that they were Christadelphian serial killers. I totally would have written a book about that.
Yeah. And there's books about it you can read. I put a list of sources in the show notes to that episode. And I used one of the books as a source for it. There was 2 serial killers in the same area. And so they were trying to figure out which like victims were with each and like figure out the identity. But it was crazy because they were both in like the same region.
Did they know each other?
You would think they were buddies, but no. Only one was a Christadelphian.
They're like brothers.
Can you imagine? No, the one was the Connecticut River Killer, I think it was. And then there was Gary Schaefer, who belonged to the Springfield, Vermont ecclesia.
Wow.
But they were both mentioned in that book. So like half the chapters roughly are like about him. And there's a big chunk about the Connecticut River Killer.
Wow. Because I was looking around for things to write about, and then
Like, but this is again,
because I was writing to an Afghan asylum seeker when he came out over here in 2000. It was after I'd left the Christadelphians because he was an outsider, and I just looked him up one day on Facebook, like when I still had Facebook, and he'd been murdered, so I ended up writing a whole book about that. So I sort of interviewed his murderer, went to talk to the murderer for a year.
You interviewed a murderer?
Yeah, I went and saw him in jail.
Okay, but a few years before, you couldn't even interview anybody for your journalism class. Oh my goodness. Should I be proud of you? Horrified? I don't know.
Personal growth.
Definitely growth.
See what happens.
Who would have thought she would grow up to interview a murderer? Our little girl.
So proud.
So proud. Wow, okay. Yeah. All right. Interesting.
Yeah. So, I might have another book idea now.
I'm saying it. Pitch it to Netflix. It'll be a hit. They're making everything into it. Because they just did the Gabby Petito one. So me and my coworker watched that. We've got like our little true crime movie club. We were talking about that. They did Lacey Peterson. And again, American, all good. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of that being done.
Wow. You can be like a talking head, be an expert.
Yeah, I'd rather be the one talking and not getting murdered. So if I had to pick,
that's the aim.
As an American woman over here. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so moving to happier conversations. What does an ideal Sunday look like for you? What's life like after leaving? Let's talk positives.
For years, every Sunday I'd get up and clean the house furiously until I realised that I was doing that because I needed to be up and doing something. I didn't know what to do with my time.
Yeah, you had no template for what you could do on a Sunday.
Yeah, just anything. Like now it's amazing. I've got a 16-year-old son and we'll just chill out. We'll do nothing. We'll go and
sleep in.
Yeah. We'll just do nothing and sort of get ready for work or school or it's just that freedom.
Just live your life.
Yeah, I don't even think about it anymore. It's a funny question. For years I tried to fill it and do stuff on Sundays, but now I just it's actually a weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah, rest and do whatever you need to do for the week. And
Yeah, normal.
good.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think I've been aiming for, is to just have a normal life. It's taken a while, but I finally got there. So,
That's good. That's
mm,
great to hear. That's one of the things I like about the interviews is that it's not people who've just left. I generally gear it towards people who have been out and who can talk about things get better. This is where I'm at now. This is what happens after therapy and making all these other decisions and working on personal growth and whatever you have been doing all that time since leaving.
mm,
Because it, like we said earlier, it's hard when you leave. There's so much work involved. There's so much you have to actively do and learn how to choose and make decisions and figure
mm,
a lot of things out. And so it's
yeah,
nice to know that things get easy where it's almost unconscious. Like, oh yeah, it's Sunday.
yeah.
Interesting. Like,
So what?
so it's so similar to Saturday. Okay. Like, okay. Just not even like a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think like once I left, I felt like I was very open. Like I got into an abusive relationship, or a relationship with an abusive man, and I
Yeah.
think the conditioning of the Christadelphians helped me not to be able to see kind of the warning signs and to be accepted to be being treated terribly. So I'm like, oh, this is what I'm
Yeah.
used to. I'm used to
Yep.
being controlled. I'm used to being told I'm nothing. I'm used to feeling
Yep.
worthless.
Yep.
And so
And
that,
people pleasing where you can't say no. You
yeah,
can't say, don't treat me like
exactly.
that. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's like I've left the Christadelphians and then went through quite a few years of going, oh, I'm under this religious structure. I can't remember the
Yeah,
complete
like
term.
influence though.
Yeah,
It's
and
still
then
impacting you.
exactly, and then sort of getting away from that, and then getting into a relationship with a violent man, like that, and then having all the counselling to get over that, and that was sort of
Mm-hmm.
deeply entwined with Christadelphian beliefs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had so much counselling, and the thing that's helped me the most is being EMDR. Have you heard of that?
Yep, that's a
Yeah.
trauma one I hear about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's sort of
Yep.
it's called eye movement desensitization re something. And yeah, I never remember the last
I'm
bit.
not a therapist, but we did have a therapist on in another
Ah,
episode if you want to learn about religious trauma.
yeah, it just helps so much because it kind of like anything traumatic, you can think about it. And so I've got heaps of stuff from really early on, that early on conditioning of like you're not good enough. Like my kind of
Mm-hmm.
core belief is like you'll never be good enough. Yeah,
Mm,
you're not
oof.
worthwhile, and that's a definite Christadelphian thing.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah, because every
yeah,
Christadelphian has to like humble themselves of like only Jesus is perfect. We're all
yeah,
sinful. We're all bad. It's not
yeah,
like you specifically, Vanessa, have fucked up. It's
yeah,
like you should just internalize this. Every week we're gonna tell you you're bad. You need to come to Jesus.
yeah, yeah. And then if you stop going to the breaking of bread, I mean, what do you do then? All
Mm-hmm.
your sins are on you forever. So
Yep.
yeah, it's been a long, long process, and that EMDR has helped so much of just going, here's some past trauma. Let's just sort of let you process that, and then we can kind of move on. And it's helped me to
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, that was something that happened, and I can move past it.
Mm-hmm.
And the person I'm seeing now is just like, she's really great. She's like, you've got the most control you've ever had in your entire
Oh,
life. And like that
good.
is just so empowering, just
Mm-hmm.
to know that I can choose. I can choose where to live, I can choose who to see, I can choose who to be friends with, I can choose what to
Mm-hmm.
think. Like I've never had that freedom as much now as I do now. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course. So for anyone who's thinking of leaving or has just left, it's a process, and it's not an easy process, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so worthwhile. Like I have never, ever, ever wanted to go back. I've never
Mm-hmm.
regretted my decision, even when like my whole family was like, we're just going to walk away, and
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing. Still, I don't regret it at all. It's still the best thing I
Mm-hmm.
ever did for my mental health, for everything. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of for my sense of self and being who I wanted to be, I think. Like even now I struggle to go, who am I? What am I trying to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
So ingrained, that people pleasing, and to go, no, actually, what do I actually think about that? And sort of sitting in my body and going, how do I feel about this? Like it's still a process, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, never, ever, ever regretted it.
Same here. I relate to so much of that. Thank you for sharing all of that with our listeners. Is there anything that you would recommend to anyone who might be leaving or has already left? Or like media, books, music, podcasts, things that you did that you remember being helpful?
I remember just being obsessed with anything Christadelphian. There's a few little pamphlets that I'd read. There was someone who I used to talk to a bit. Just, I think talking to people who have left, have gone through that process, and just trying to separate yourself from going, oh, okay, I was in this, like this bubble, as you say, and now I can see outside of it. And just, you're going to be obsessed with all different kinds of things as you kind of work your way through it, and that's completely fine. I think the process is about accepting yourself for all your weirdness and,
Yeah.
And just going, okay, this is me and I've made mistakes. And I sort of had to work through being a perfectionist as well, because we're taught that we have to be like Jesus to be perfect, and that's of course impossible and brings great unhappiness. So I think anyone go to get some counselling. Go, like some counsellors are weird as well. Like just work until you find someone who you're suited to and understands it. Don't go to a religious counsellor.
Like a Christian one who's like, oh, you should go to church and that'll help.
Yeah. It sort of secretly sympathises with what you're talking about. Yeah. But the EMDR, I think, has changed my life, like really seriously. That's done the most for getting back to that real core childhood beliefs that I'm not good enough, that we're not good enough. That's what I would recommend, EMDR for everyone.
That's great. Thank you for sharing all of that. So the other thing I was thinking about when we were talking about resources was the ex-Christadelphian Facebook group, because I do feel like that's a good place to talk about it, kind of get stuff off your chest. And I feel like a lot of people kind of process in there because there's people who understand. And again, we're all spread out, all from around the world, but usually you can find someone there who can relate, who may have known similar people or been in similar situations or whatever it was at some point, who's able to connect. But, like, it's okay to grow out of it too if that's not what you need right now. But often people who are processing do tend to seem to get a lot out of connecting with people there who understand them and don't need to ask like all the questions like a therapist might, to be like, what are we talking about? What's going on?
Yeah, it's that shared understanding, isn't it? You've got that shared language. Yeah, I found it really helpful for a while, but I got rid of Facebook after a while because I just don't like Facebook. But yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about today that we didn't get to?
Well, I know I've talked about therapy a lot, but I was talking about this in my last session with her, and I'm like, I don't know, like I'm worried about what to say and if I say the wrong thing or if I kind of expose myself too much. And then she was like, well, what's going to happen? And I'm like, and then I went, oh yeah, just imagine like all the Christadelphians I grew up with, like they're in their 70s and 80s now, like what are they going to do?
At the senior home, they blast it and they were talking shit. Like, you remember that girl Vanessa with the big Doc Martens? You remember her?
I knew she was
She's talking about us. Didn't name any of us, but she's on my naughty list.
Yeah, I don't think so. I really appreciate what you're doing with this, and I think it's such a safe space for people to explore. And when I was listening to your podcast, especially the John Thomas one, I was just like, we've got a female who's sassy, who's extremely intelligent, who's unpacking all this bullshit we've been fed to us. Like, I just really, really appreciate it. So thank you.
Aww, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear it. It is nice to hear people are enjoying it. In general, it seems like people are enjoying it because I think they're like, oh, is this going to be like an exhortation? And then they listen to it and they're like, what? This is not. And I was like, didn't you get that from the intro music? Like, come on. We're switching it up. We're going to have fun.
Yeah, it's good that a female especially can get to talk and go, because how many boring exhortations and lectures have we had to sit through by these ignorant guys who have not had education, have deliberately kept themselves stupid. And
women are more likely to go to college now, even statistically. Women tend to be very driven in terms of education.
Yep. And we've got all these ideas and they've all been suppressed, so it's great. I love it.
Now that this is my life of being an educated, outspoken woman. It's weird to go into researching Christadelphian stuff, and the space gets so male and so white so fast. And like you go on these pages and you just see men after men. They're like, what are they talking about? It's like, here's a list of, talks by brothers, and it's a podcast where every single one is by a man. Every single podcast episode is just a man. Men talking, men talking, men talking, men talking. And I was like, I can't believe I sat through that.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I remember I said it with Mike, where I was like, I love having the guys on the podcast. We've had some great guests. But I keep it about 50-50. I do try to keep it balanced with how many guests, coming out of all different backgrounds and demographics and stuff. But I was just like, I can't do it. I love that it was me in the sense of that I'm a woman who is finally speaking out, who's finally being listened to, especially about Christadelphian stuff. It is just table flipping, really, on the whole. If you want to talk about how this is not a Christadelphian podcast, it's ex-Christadelphian, we've got women in charge.
Yes.
Like already flipped the script right there.
Yeah.
As well as then deconstructing and reanalyzing all of the history and the ideology and the doctrines, and really getting into all of this stuff and talking about all the things that they won't talk about. You're not supposed to talk about, that you hold inside, but actually talking about, like, how did you feel when you're in an ecclesia? How did you feel when these things were happening? What made you get baptized? What were you feeling? And finally talking about the stuff that no one talks about. When you're a Christadelphian, we process it when we leave. We talk about it when we leave with our therapists and in the group and all of that. So it's really been fun and cool. And I kind of love that. It's like, it's definitely feminist.
Really, yeah.
Which is pretty opposite of traditional Christadelphia. And I know we've got some progressive Christadelphian girlies who listen to the podcast. So
has it changed as well? Like, have you seen that Christadelphians have become more progressive?
From what I have heard, because again, I'm not aware of it particularly having a stronghold in America for the more progressive Christadelphian movement, or in Canada, which would have been the areas I would have been more in. It sounds like in the UK and in Australia, there's a number of ecclesias that are moving towards having more equality with women. It sounds like they did a survey in the last few years that was based in the UK talking about trends and women, and it doesn't sound like it's 50-50, but it sounds like it is moving in that direction, so it's no longer 0 and 100.
Yeah.
100% men serving and speaking and praying and leading everything, presiding, and 0% women. It now sounds like it might be like 30% more, And a few people have mentioned going to ecclesias. Leah's episode talks a little bit about some of that happening in Australia, and I think Steve mentioned the one ecclesia he had been at started doing it more by merit as opposed to sex for roles in the ecclesia, like Sunday school superintendent could be a male or a woman, I believe.
Wow.
So I think it's come up a little bit. A lot of the people have left here on the podcast at a time where that wasn't super common. So there's not a ton of stories of that. Yeah. But I have had some current Christadelphians reach out and be like, hey, we want to tell you about like what's going on and what's going on in the more progressive circles of Christadelphia, because I'm not in it and I wouldn't know. And it gives me a better, be better informed on the podcast, about current stuff that's going on. So it's interesting. I'm feminist, so I'm for it. But I'm not Christadelphian. I was like, sure, I support it. Go for it.
I don't think it's ever going to be complete equality, though, is it? Especially all those verses in the Bible that they love pulling out. That man's the head of the woman, which is,
Yeah, I feel like if you got rid of Paul in the Bible, you'd be much better off. Like, just get rid of him.
He is the worst.
He drags everyone down. Man. Like, the Bible without Paul would be so much better. Because, like... And people use him to like supersede Jesus, because Jesus will be like, oh, he's respecting women, he's listening to women, he's protecting them. He's like, don't throw stones at her. He who doesn't have to sin, throw it, whatever. And then Paul's like, yeah, women should sit down and shut up. Yes. And everyone's like, see, Paul is an example of a godly man. And I'm like, what about Jesus? What about Jesus? He was very pro-women. Excuse you. Do we break bread for Paul and his body? No. That's my thoughts.
Wow. So in this perfect
Get rid of
world,
Paul.
we'll get rid of Paul. I totally
We get rid
agree.
of Paul. We just throw those books overboard.
Yeah.
We can throw some like Apocrypha or whatever in there. It's filler. No one needs to know. It's fine. You can keep your little reading booklets. It's fine. Just switch it with something else. Maybe we can have some more female stories. What about that woman who led them into battle, like Deborah? We can have like a Deborah 2. Let's have some sequels. Yeah, let's have some other stuff.
So do you think it's all fiction? Because I just tend to think it's just fiction.
That's actually going to be an episode in the season that you're going to be on, the 3rd season. Because we're going to have a biblical scholar come on and talk about the reality of the Bible.
Nice.
Because I was like, I don't know all this stuff, but he knows like the history of how it's developed and put together and how people have seen it throughout time and context around different chapters and stuff. And I was like, I think that's all important, because I don't think so. But again, I don't have the knowledge to make a concise argument about it. But talking to him, I think, is very eye-opening. And even one of our other guests talked about taking a biblical studies class and how reading the books and stuff was the same kind of thing, like very eye-opening.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So maybe we could get rid of the Bible. We just have one gospel, maybe, and then get rid of the rest. I quite like James, though. Yeah.
Maybe just be a good person and like go out and volunteer on Sundays, or like spend time with your family and nurture their emotional development and connection. Heal some generational trauma. I could be down for that on a Sunday. Yeah, but no, that'd be great. No complaints about seeing people be more loving, be more accepting, be happier, be healthier. You know, if there's ways to evolve the Christadelphians to have them be a group where people are healthy and happy, great. I just think there's a lot of baggage that weighs down those efforts with all of the way it was founded by, traditional patriarchal Victorian men. That was like the least progressive demographic in history, That's up there. Yeah. So it's a tough battle, but there's people who want to take that on, so.
Well, my uncle told me a joke once. He said, how many Christadelphians does it take to change a light bulb?
I'm going to guess it's 0, because nothing can ever change.
There you got it.
I got it. Wow, a Christadelphian made that joke?
Yeah.
Oh, man, your uncle was cool. Damn. That's funny.
Yeah, his answer was, none. We don't change.
Oh, well, maybe if you say it like that, it's not as fun. That's kind of intimidating. It's like, get in line.
No, but he was being ironic as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing that we talked about in the episode with Amy, is how do you get them to change when you're not allowed to? When you have the one perfect truth, you can't inherently change it. Because you already said, this is it. This is the truth. This is how we do it. This is what's right. This is what God wants. This is what makes God happy. This is what gets us into the kingdom, which is what we want. So how do you change it?
Yeah.
Like, that's where you're going to get resistance of like, no, this is what God wants. God wants women to be subservient. That's why he sent Paul.
Yeah, that's what I get about like listening to all those exhortations of men. But I mean, like, they haven't had any reflection. They haven't educated themselves. They haven't had any critical thinking to go, hey, hang on a second. Let's just think about this. Does this make sense? Do I treat my wife like this? No. Why is she less than what I am? Let's just have a bit of a think about it.
Yeah, and I think by saying uneducated, I think it comes down to ignorance and just acceptance of the status quo more than not being intelligent, but just being indoctrinated to the point where you're not challenging things, you're not thinking about things critically. Even with what I do with the history episodes, I try to go back to the primary sources as much as I can. I try to really look at things for myself and then piece it together into this jigsaw of an episode with all these different quotes and examples. I don't just read what the other people have said, like Christadelphian authors, to be like, oh, well, this is what you should know. Because I think a Christadelphian audience reading that will take it at face value and be like, oh, this is what I should know about these facts.
Yeah.
And I try to go deeper than that in order to say, no, I think this is actually misleading. I think this might be wrong. I think this might not be sharing a full context. But I think in the Christadelphian ecclesia, not only do we unconsciously know that that's not allowed, like you can't just go up to the podium and be like, actually, I don't think we actually need to have the bread and wine. Like, that's not going to go over well. Actually, I think Sister Petunia should be up here speaking for me. Sister Petunia, please, come on up. Like, I don't see that going over well. And so that's the thing is, like, both the culture reinforces it, the traditions reinforce it, and you're supposed to accept it and just kind of reiterate it. Like, I feel like every exhortation just ends with, and that's why we come to the table to celebrate Jesus.
Bow your head.
And it's, it's so routine. It's so classic. You're just reframing the same thing over and over again. And everyone knows that. It's like there's a format, there's a standard template for it. Yeah. So the group is not going to cultivate free thinkers and radicals and new ideas and all of that. It's, you live in the bubble, you polish the bubble every week, you show people how great the bubble is, and then you celebrate being in the bubble every Sunday. Yeah.
I guess that's what I mean. It's like willfully uneducated, willfully not thinking critically. Like, it's a choice they make, I think.
Yeah, and even in some of the Christadelphian works that I see, they'll be like, yeah, you shouldn't read, religious writings that aren't by Christadelphians. Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. Because, like, even with Rob, like, he started reading outside of that and became more educated, and eventually he left.
Yeah, he got funny ideas and he left.
Yeah. And so it's like, stay in the bubble. It's safe in the bubble. But then you do become less educated about, like, well, what is going on in the world? What do people think about the Bible? What do people think about these different things? What do people think culturally about these time periods that we're reading about? Is this history that we're teaching about the Bible accurate? But if people aren't, like, researching that themselves, and they're all relying on each other, and they're all trying to reinforce the same narrative, you just don't get that diversity of thought and really seeking out the most accurate thing. I'm trying not to say the truth, but come on. We're looking for the truth out here in the ex-Christadelphian world. Come on.
The one truth.
Yeah. The one truth. I don't believe in that, but I do think you can find better information. I think you can have a more informed opinion by looking outside of what is prescribed and allowed. You can definitely build a more nuanced opinion. Those are just some thoughts. Yeah. All right. Anything else today?
No, thank you.
We've covered a lot. So thank you again, Vanessa, for coming on the podcast today, for sharing your story, for telling us all about your book, and also being our first guest to talk about the Old Paths Christadelphians, which is yet another branch of the Christadelphians on the Christadelphian family tree. So that's all for today, everyone. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode. Bye. Thank you to everyone who has helped make this episode of the podcast possible. Today's episode was edited by me, Zinnia. I'd also like to thank Al Kroons for creating our intro music, and the ex-Christadelphians that submitted audio for the intro music. If you'd like to join our community, you can find us at the group for ex-Christadelphians on Facebook. You can also follow our social media on Facebook and Instagram at Life After Leaving Podcast. If you'd like to come on the podcast, reach out to me at lifeafterleavingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving a rating and review or sharing this podcast with a friend. That's all for today. Thanks, and see you next time.